In this tutorial, we're going to look at the date format that we can use within SQL Server, and we're going to look at how we can change that date into a particular format that we want using the convert function. This is part of a wider set of tutorials that you can find that will take you through all the basics of writing SQL within SQL Server. The easiest way to find that is to subscribe, and then you can look at the playlist for this series of videos. You can also find all the videos on my website www.padsresearch.co.uk, and that stands for Physics, Aviation and Data Science, and you'll find links to those at the end of this video. So let's start and have a look at the format that we'll find within SQL Server. So SQL Server naturally has the format of a year dash mm for month, and then DD for day. So that's the year, month and day. And then if you have the time component as well, that's followed by the HH for hour, MI for minutes and SS for seconds. And then you can also specify the milliseconds after that also. So if we were to select some data from the products table, then you can see that we've got the 2014 year, the month 02, the day 08, and then we've got our hours, minutes and seconds, and then followed by our milliseconds. So if we run this, then this will return this set of data below. Now in the background, SQL Server actually stores dates and times as integer values, but it will present those to you in this format. Now, we don't necessarily want to view the date in this format, and if we want to change it, we can use the convert function. So if I take the modified date and I put that into the select statement to make it a little bit easier for us to see, and I'm going to get rid of this for the moment, and let's execute that again. We can see that this is the date format that is naturally returned. Now this will sometimes vary depending on what regional settings you have within SQL Server, but this is its natural format. So to convert this date modified, I can use the convert function. So let's put a comma in there and then type convert. And the convert function accepts a couple of parameters. The first thing it wants is, well, what data type format do I want to convert it to? Now, when we're controlling the format of the date, we actually want to convert it to a string. So let's do a varchar 15. You can have various lengths of string depending on what you want to return. The thing that we're going to convert is going to be the modified date, so let's put that in. And now we need to specify what format we want our date to be returned in. Now, in SQL Server, you pass it a series of codes, and depending on what that code is, will dictate what the format returned is. If you live in the US, then you can use the code 101, and that will give you a US formatted date. So if we click execute and have a look at what is returned, we can see that we've got a month followed by a day followed by a year. If you live in the UK, then you would use the code 103 instead. We can look up what the code is for the particular format that we want by heading over to our Google browser, and if you do a quick search for the cast and convert functions, then you'll find all different formats that you can find. So for example, here's 101, that'll give us the month, day, year. Or we could have a 110, which would give us a month, dash, day, year. Or a 111, which would give us a year, month, day format. So you can search through this list of codes until you find the format of the date that you want to be displayed. So let's head back to the query again. So to format the date, you need to use the convert function. You need to specify that you want to return a string, then specify the date that you want formatted, and then put in the correct code for the date that you want formatted. If you want more examples of how to work with date functions, then you can find that in my other course, a complete course in SQL with SQL Server, and I'll put a link on the screen to that in a moment. In the next video, we're going to take a little look at how we can work with subqueries, and we're going to look at a few different examples of those. To look at that video, then click on the link on the screen.